No, thanks.
41 years from now, the crew of the Starship Enterprise will arrive from the future and help Zephyr Cochrane make his first warp flight. And in 4 years from now, we will have World War II. And do you remember back in the 90s, those eugenic wars? I can't forget them. Anyway, welcome to the show, Marcelo. We're going to talk about Star Trek today.
Yeah, well,
I cut
it's
you
a ple-
off.
no, it's fine. It's fine. It's a pleasure to be back here on the Boatrek, and can't wait to talk some Star Trek with you.
Yes, Boatrek Live, the show where we don't show images and stuff. We just have discussions about the
Stuff.
what's going on with Trek, man.
Yeah.
The last time we did a Picard mid-season review of season 2. Speaking
Yeah,
of
that one was
Picard,
fun.
something strange happened today.
Yeah. So just
Very
to tell
odd.
you what, yeah, just to tell you what happened to me, I was scrolling through Twitter, and then I saw this, trailer for Picard, and I was like, oh, it's probably a trailer for the next episode. So I clicked on it, and I was shocked when it was a trailer for the up and coming third season, and I was like, why would they drop this now? But actually, after listening to it, I was like, they're bringing back the original. Oh, the next gen cast. When you heard all the original voices from Geordi to Worf to Data to Diana to Riker to Dr. Crusher, I lost my mind. To be honest, I lost my mind. I thought that this trailer was such a well welcome surprise because a lot of us thought we were going to get some cast back in the third season, but none of us, I think, believe that we're going to get them all back.
Well,
Um,
just to name them off, it is of course going to be Patrick Stewart, LeVar Burton, Michael Dorn, Jonathan Frakes, Gates McFadden, Marina Sirtis, and Brent Spiner. Now, presumably, every single one of these people are playing their TNG their TNG character, except for Brent Spiner. I
yeah.
swear to Jesus, if they bring back Data and kill him again, or like just bring him milk that character again, and have Brent Spiner actually play the character. The only I was watching Trek Yards at a live stream, and they were talking about Brent Spiner could come back as Data in like a CG or deep fake form, in the form of like personal logs or something pre-recorded. I'm like, okay, that could work. But my assumption is that he's just going to be Alton Soon again, like he was in season 1.
Mhm.
Like he's going to tag along with them, and they're going to constantly make remarks about how like, you look like Data, you look like Data, or like some joke about like all you Soons look exactly the same. Or like,
I'm, I'm sorry. I can't. I swear. It's like, no, the second you said, I swear to Sonny Jesus. If the, I listen. If
do you think there's
they
the assumption out there though that people see Brent Spiner along with the rest of the cast, they hear TNG Cast Reunion, like, well, Data's back again.
listen, I never really liked what they did with Data in season one. So if listen, yep, but let me finish. If yeah, please, because I know how you get
I'm
sometimes.
not. I'm
So
not
just
saying anything.
oh, yeah, hold on. If Terry Matalas and the writers of Star Trek Picard have a, a really really cool science fictiony twist to bring the original Data back and undo what what Michael Chabon did in season one that I didn't particularly like too much. I wouldn't have a problem with that. I wouldn't have a problem with that, but I do understand if if some Star Trek Picard fans who like season one would have a major problem with that.
Yeah, it's like he died in Nemesis. We
Mm-hmm.
bring him back for Picard to milk that character for
Mm-hmm.
whatever value is left in it, right?
Yeah, and then
And
they're moving
for
right again.
for all my criticisms of season 1, The whole thing with him being in the like weird purgatory with Picard and having that talk. There's something very like moody and ghostly and kind of like Twin Peaks David Lynchian about it. And then you have the Issa Briones singing Blue Skies, and I thought like that whole montage was like one of the highlights actually of this season.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, Data's gone now. Brent Spiner doesn't have to put on that makeup and have to be digitally altered in post, and he can play Alton soon. He can play Adam soon, and Albert soon, and Michael soon, and now Issa Briones can play every female soon from now on, in different iterations. Sorry, go ahead.
No, but you know what would be really cool? And I know I'm probably going to get a lot of shit for this because he's not very popular among the Star Trek Next Generation faithful, at least from my view. And this is where I get kicked off the show. Bring Wesley back.
I mean,
it makes no sense, but why not have Will Wheaton there? I was like...
It would work. You just can't have Will Wheaton play Will Wheaton. You can't have him be there like, wow. Like, no, you can't have him be like the
no, of course not.
You know what? If Beverly's there, people would assume like Will could make a cameo.
Yeah, it's
and Will Wheaton wants to be Wesley again. Like, he's like, put me in there. Put me in, coach.
Why not, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see him being a vital part of it.
No.
I mean, I'm wondering how they're gonna get them all together, and how long that will
very
last. And will they see the mistake they can't make is, and I'm gonna bring in another Star franchise as an example.
What?
I don't mind what they did with The Last Jedi, but I think one of the big missed opportunities in the Star Wars movies. You know what I would have done? I would have made the climax of Force Awakens have all the gang together at the end. So at least for one film, you had them all do an adventurous thing one last time. It's like the crew of the original series, like the Undiscovered Countries, their last hurrah. That's the last adventure we're ever going to see from them.
Yeah.
Unless it's like, you get into the reboot territory or like... some kind of comic or other thing that continues what happened to them after the fact, but whatever.
Right.
We all know what happens to Kirk anyway, so.
Yes, we do. He has a big fall.
But now you have 20 years later, you have the TNG cast for the first time in 20 years.
Wow, it's amazing. No,
I remember seeing Nemesis in theaters and being so disappointed. I'm like, oh, that's the send-off? That's no Undiscovered Country. That's what I was expecting. Like, because it was like there was the trope of that they're all the even number ones are the better ones. That's not necessarily true because Search for Spock is pretty good, and I actually don't mind 5 all that much. It's an oddball film. It's an oddball kind of like it's the indie version of a Star Trek film.
You know what?
It's a curiosity.
I'm so happy that you said that about 5, and stick with me. I don't think 5 is that bad. I mean, it's not. It's bad. Don't get me wrong. It's bad, but it's not horrible like a lot of people say.
Yeah, well, I've grown to like it more.
Like it?
Even like the motion picture. Well, we're going to talk about that in a bit at the motion picture remaster.
To go back to
Picard. Yeah.
To go back to Picard season 3. I think that the thing that you're worried about is I think that the TNG cast is going to be together for the whole run of the thing. I don't think it's going to be like with 2 episodes left they get everybody together. I don't think it's going to be that.
So they've kept this secret. Like if LeVar Burton and Gates McFadden and Michael Dorn, I mean, walking around in Worf makeup, that's not been leaked. So I'm like, okay, I'm assuming because this is my experience. I saw your tweet. That's how I became aware of it.
Oh, cool. Thanks.
I only follow like 17 people,
Oh well,
and because
I was happy.
usually that amount of people in the Trek world are liking or retweeting something in the broader world anyway, so it always works.
Mm.
So I always see the latest thing somehow.
Mm.
And I didn't read your. I saw the beginning of your tweet, like your
Yeah, but you
soaks,
didn't read it.
and then I stopped. I was like, no, I'm gonna watch this thing because Picard season 3. I'm in disbelief, right? I'm like, well, it's just an announcement of like.
No, it's not.
I was expecting a date like, oh, it's actually coming earlier than you think it's coming in the end of the year, or something like that. But no, that wasn't the case.
Uh-uh.
Then I see him writing the stuff, and there's the voiceovers.
Like,
Didn't even click. Did not even click. I'm just like,
Uh-uh.
okay, they're just playing clips from the legacy actors to
No,
you
they
know
ain't.
to tug them, to mess with me, right? And then it's like, Riker's there, and it's like the cast is returning, and I was like, Michael Dorn. I see him. I'm like, that was the one. That was everybody's like Beverly. I'm like, Michael fucking Dorn, man, it's Worf. And when you hear going back, when you hear his voice is much softer. It's much mature, and like it's and look, the clips now to me sound like modern clips, possibly actually straight from the show.
Yeah.
Could be, or they could have been like a quick voiceover jobby, but assuming that they recorded their parts would make sense. But yeah, go ahead.
No, I first of all, I'm very happy that you discovered this piece of Star Trek news through my tweet. Very happy about that. Even though that you only follow 17 people, I am honored that I'm the one of the 17. But when I heard the voiceovers, they didn't sound like insert audio clip from this Star Trek adventure here. They sounded like brand new voiceover clips.
Yeah.
So
at first I was just into I was like, no, I dismissed it as like, no, this is not new dialogue from these characters. Obviously it could be. All of them, like LeVar fucking Burton and then Michael Dorn, and nah.
Nah.
No, it's not possible. And then it was like, oh, what a shock. And I didn't think anything was going to happen on First Contact Day. I was thinking maybe a Lower Decks trailer. And
That would have been cool.
They already kind of blew their proverbial load with the Star Trek Strange New Worlds trailer, which is like one of the best TV trailers I've ever seen.
Yeah, that thing is awesome.
For a TV series, yeah.
We talked about that for a little bit offline. That thing is awesome, by the way.
Not that that guarantees that the show will be great. But
No,
it's the same thing.
of course not.
It's the same thing with season 3 of Picard.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be a downer or anything. I'm just saying, like, the fact that they're back doesn't guarantee the story.
It's good. Yeah.
Actors are there to have fun. Well, if it's this kind of reunion, it's more of a like, it's fun to get together and stuff. But,
Right.
I mean,
No.
they have little say in like
What they're gonna do?
the story unless they're producing or they have some kind of creative control.
Mm-hmm.
Braxton is here. Hello, Braxton.
Hey, Braxton,
Anton is
how are
here
you,
as well.
buddy? Oh, cool. I mean, for me particularly, this trailer really struck my heartstrings because the Next Generation crew is my favorite Star Trek crew. Next Generation is my crew. So to see them come back together after, a Nemesis, which was the less said about that, the better. But to see them come back together after this many years, and to see them actually get together to do an actual mission, just makes my heart sing so much. And I'm so thankful to Patrick Stewart, to Akiba Goldsman, to Alex Kurtzman, and Terry Metalis for putting this together and for keeping it a secret. I don't know how they did this.
Yeah, it's impressive. Okay, and now Michael Dorn. Now, famously, we know, if you know anything about behind the scenes,
Yeah,
it's been pretty well stated that among other actors, I mean, the center seat, 55 Years of Star Trek, the final episode of what I'm assuming is the first season or maybe the series itself, it's all about the actors and the actors' experience. Like the whole episode is just about the actors. and being in makeup is a part of it, and like how nerve-wracking it is to get the mold and to be able to only breathe through the straws while you're getting the mold, so they
Oh,
can make a mold of your head so they can graft the makeup on so it fits you perfectly when they make the mold of the foam latex. Different stuff they use now. I think they use silicone,
right.
and maybe the process isn't as harsh on the skin as it used to be. So I don't know how Michael Dorn would have been taking to, like, okay, if I'm going to come back, first of all, if I was him, I'd be like, how much are you paying me and how much time am I spending? Because with an actor with prosthetic makeup, you got to realize, even with Neelix or any of these actors, I mean, Doug Jones is the patience of like a godly angel, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But other people like complained about, like, you got to realize when you're looking at them in these shows with the heavy prosthetics on, like out in the daytime, and they're saying their lines, and you got to realize underneath all that is a level of, like, I'm about to break mentally.
Yeah.
Or like it's a challenge that not a lot of people like know about. Now, I love how the center seat kind of examines that, like the psychological aspect of heavy makeup and prosthetics, and especially being completely covered in like a mask and stuff like that. It's very hard work, and that's why I think like they should evolve it to digital makeup. That's going to become a thing, I think.
That's cool.
Where it's so good, it's not. It would have to be cost effective too. It would have to be less. It would have to be less costly than having the people do the prosthetic makeup and have all those hours paid to get the person there, and then pay the person who's in the makeup. And
yeah, because Doug Jones, we love Doug Jones on that channel, I assume. He spends 8 hours a day. Like it takes 8 hours or 9 hours to get him in the makeup and then to take him out.
For a main character in a Trek show, he has it the worst, I think. He's the most covered. Like Armin Shimmerman and any kind of makeup. I mean, Odo. I mean, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's hard. It's hard stuff. But I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what he looks like. I know he's going to look like Worf. I know people joke about, like, they're going to have him look like Disco Klingon, or they're going to change it somehow.
No, they ain't.
Or like update it to make him look more alien.
Hell no.
Stuart Baird, who directed Nemesis, I think I got that name right.
Yeah.
He famously, to the objection and of a lot of fans, changed Michael Dorn's voice. He like brought it down He brought it down a couple of octaves. If you listen to Michael Dorn in Nemesis, his voice is a little unnaturally deep. It's so subtle. Like they knew not to mess with it too much, as to not make him sound like different. But like he has some bass in his voice in Nemesis, and it's not completely natural. Michael Dorn has he's a naturally soft speaking voice, and to do the Worf, he has to like register a lower tone, and you can only do so much. But I noticed in this trailer, he sounds more Michael Dorn than Worf. Like that sounds like Michael Dorn talking more than Worf talking. And I wonder if, like, when he comes back, will he like be a wiser, kind of like gentler Worf, not like ramming speed.
Yeah, ramming speed.
Or like that part in the early TNG season, it's season 1, I think, where he's like demonstrating the Klingon mating call. He's just like right in the guy's face.
Yeah, right in the guy's face. But my favorite Worf, line of all time is in First Contact, when he tries to say to Jean-Luc it's time to leave the ship, and Jean-Luc calls him a coward, right? And Michael Dorn says, if you were any other man, I'd kill you where you stand. That line is so Worf, but that also shows the immense respect that he has for Jean-Luc Picard.
That was the hook, besides the Borg factor. That was the hook in the trailer that I saw in Entertainment Tonight for the first time.
Yeah.
that was like, oh my god, I'm fucking like I'm
I can't-
freaking out because like the crew are in this desperate situation with one of the worst Star Trek villains, like most deadly of all time, right? You don't know. I'm not, obviously don't know anything about the movie, but it's Borg. So I'm like, oh, the stakes are high for one thing. And I'm like, oh my god, the crew are fighting with each other. They're so stressed out. They're fighting with each other, not getting along like they did on the show. And like, he's like, you coward. If you were any other man, I would kill you where you stand. And
Oh
it's
my
like,
god, so great.
not only that, also in the trailer, to be honest, looking back, it gives away like the best parts of the movie.
Yeah, that's right.
It has any other man, I would kill you where you stand. It has John-Luc, blow up the damn ship.
Damn shit. No.
No.
And it also has the line must be drawn here. No
This
further.
far, no further.
Yeah, this far.
I
no
don't
further.
believe that. I could be wrong. I don't believe. Maybe that was in the trailer too. Maybe they gave it all away, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
No, but also that trailer has some great buildup of like the Delta coming in slowly in space, and then you hear the 90s voiceover guy. He sounds great.
Oh, coming to a theater near you.
Yeah,
Something like that.
yeah. Oh my god, that trailer. It was on the
Coming
It was on-
November 1996. Like,
Yeah.
it's like really like one of those gruffy
Yeah.
voices.
that
But that was the
trailer-
teaser though. There's two different ones. Like there's
Yeah.
a main one and the teaser you're talking about, the first one.
Yeah, the teaser. Yeah. That teaser, just real quick here, and then we'll get back to Picard. I swear.
Oh, it's all Picard, yeah.
Yeah, it's all Picard. That teaser was attached to the VHS copy of the original Mission Impossible film, and every time I watched that teaser, I got so excited. Like, I love that teaser so much. It's one of my all-time favorite teasers of all time.
Isn't that funny how like you knew a VHS was new when it contained a trailer for a movie that hadn't come out in theaters yet?
Yep.
Because every old VHS would always have like coming summer 1992 Beethoven. It's like
Yeah, Beethoven.
this
What the
movie's
hell?
10 years old already. It's like
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, listen, I'm cautiously optimistic. I don't because I see people out there already like casting equals. It's automatically going to be good. They can't mess it
No.
up. I'm like,
No.
no, sir. They
They can still fuck it up.
They can mess it up. I mean, it's not. To be fair, it's not easy to get it right. But I mean, they
No,
can
it's
mess it up.
not. No.
People
but
think
I-
like, oh, you just have this ingredient and this thing has that. But like,
No.
really, how do you formulate that like along a 10 episode
No.
thing?
No.
Like, how do you do it as a person? I know it's like easy to criticize, but like this currency. Not to get too much into season 2, but we're only halfway through season 2, and it's getting like a bit of a negative vibe. It's not getting the same love. Not only from me, I've seen from other people, where it's like, oh, it started out good, and then it like devolves into like especially the last 2 episodes.
Ugh.
I see a lot of criticism over, and then Red Letter Media, which is an extremely popular review site, very off the cuff, sarcastic. You don't take them seriously. Like, people take it very personally. Like their criticisms, like they often lambast things I love, but they do it in such a fashion that it's entertaining. Like they destroyed Discovery and Picard in the reviews, and they did one recently right up to the halfway point in Picard season 2. Very popular. Like it's one of the few Star Trek review things that gets like over 1 million views in terms of.
Wow.
But and then it's like, I don't know how long they had this First Contact teaser for Picard season 3 planned, but maybe like, isn't it? It seems to me it's the perfect time to get the Picard hype going again, because I'm in a lull personally, and I think some other fans are too, where it's like, oh, I thought season 2 was going to be good, and it started out, and I'm like, I don't know where it's going. It's like you have this Renee thing where the crew have gone back in time to help a pilot make a space flight. It's like, it's a little on the nose with the First Contact mixed with Voyager thing. It's like, They're literally just mishmashing. Remember this, and then it's like sure that can work, but like I'm not. I'm totally like episode 6. I don't expect much of anything to happen besides them being at a party and shenanigans.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that.
And this is the thing. Somebody said even if it's not that good, just having them there anyway, like just makes it sweet. Like Nepenthe is not a great episode of Picard season 1. The parts with the Rikers in it are fun, and to see the dot and to see that's all fucking like amazing. But half of that episode is garbage. The stuff that doesn't involve Nepenthe, the Borg,
it's garbage.
Even in the rewatch, the Borg cube stuff with I can't remember his name.
Soji.
No,
Laris.
No, the dude who's manipulating Soji. He looks like
what is his fucking name?
Who cares?
Who cares?
He's effing his sister or whatever. It's like he's like Jaime Lannister from Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. I can't even see. That's how bad it is. Like I don't even. I've watched the season 3-4 times.
Narek.
There you go.
Narek. There you go. Narek. Idiot.
All that like that's just like. And here's the question about the cast. You have Jurati. You have Elnor. We know is going to come back.
Yeah.
Seven and Rafi.
Yeah, they're gonna
Rios. On top of the new cast. So like, how's that going to work? So I'm thinking maybe season 2 there will be a send off for some characters.
Or they could kill them all.
That would be dark. That would be brave and to kill off 7 of 9 and not have her team up with Worf in season 3. What are you kidding?
Whoa. I said, I didn't say who. I said, you know what? Kill Jurati, kill Rios, kill Eleanor because I never liked Eleanor. Throw him out the water, but leave 7 alive. Make 7 the only survivor of the new cast, and have her team up with Worf. That'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
Have her be covered with the blood of all the characters that have died at the end of the season. She's just like, I will never kill again. I mean it this time.
I mean this time. No, I don't. I'm kidding. No, but
go ahead.
I think your concerns are valid because just because, these actors who, we grew up with and we love are in a particular thing doesn't necessarily guarantee that particular thing is going to be good. But with that being said, I think that Akiva Goldsman and Terry Matalas, I think that they're going to surprise us, and I think they're going to give us a worthwhile story to a good reason for these wonderful people to come back together again and help Jean-Luc Picard. I think the story that they're going to tell is going to be pretty solid. It may not be perfect to all of us, but I think it's going to be pretty good.
I hope. I mean,
yeah.
I don't mind if like half the season it doesn't have that like full on TNG reunion. I wouldn't mind if like characters like joined along the way type of thing. I'm wondering if it seems like I'm just getting this from like, okay, Doug Drexler was on the 7th Rule and he hinted at the TNG reunion like 2-3 weeks ago.
Oh, good.
And I'm like, he's talking about working on the show, and they in that teaser trailer too, they also talked about like the crew they brought back, including Doug Drexler, Michael Okuda, amongst other names. I don't have the list in front of me, but whatever. It just shows that they're bringing like the old talent, the old
everybody back.
Yeah, it's like to announce that, like that's unprecedented. Like, you don't see that in any other thing where a show's like. Usually they say from the executive producer of Grey's Anatomy or something like that, or like they have a little mention, but it's not like teaser
for
this big list of people, and you have to be like the nerdiest of the Star Trek nerd to know every single one.
Yeah,
right. I know some of them. I recognize a lot, but I'm like, who's that again? And you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure, like, Father, he'd be like, oh, I know every single one of them. I met
Yeah,
them. We're
of course you
friends.
do.
No,
Of course you do.
but
um,
that's it. That's an indication that they're calling to fans like, I know season 2's bad, guys. I know season 2's bad. But we got the TNG. No, I'm joking. I'm being funny.
facetious, yeah.
But I think there might be maybe some truth to that. I'm just speculating. Like, what a great time to do it too. When the excitement for both Picard season 2 is dying down, and then Strange New Worlds is coming up.
Oh, it's coming, man. It's coming.
But how do you? But then you prop up Picard again with his marketing. It's brilliant from a marketing standpoint.
I think I think today was the perfect storm of events because, first of all, like you mentioned in the open, it's First Contact Day, number 1. Number 2, we had the special edition of the motion picture drop today, number 2, and number 3 we had this Picard teaser drop, number 3. So it was like a perfect storm of events. And a couple of days ago we had the Strange New Worlds trailer drop. So I think the marketing department for CBS is doing a wonderful job, really making all of Star Trek fans really excited for a lot of things that are coming in the future.
Which character? I know a lot of people are saying Beverly. I'm surprised that a lot of people are not being like Worf, Worf, Worf. One thing I saw on Twitter that got a lot of likes was can't wait to see Worf and Seven of Nine fight back.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Which character are you excited the most for?
I'm a Picard and Beverly shipper, 100%. So I am really, really overly excited to see Beverly Crusher again, and I pray, tiny bit of hope, that they do hint at a start of a romantic relationship between the two of them. They don't have to go all the way in the show, but to just they don't have to do that. But it'd be really cool if they did.
They don't have to bump uglies. Okay, yeah.
No, yeah, they don't have to bump
we're
uglies.
Too old for this.
Yeah, we're too old. We're too old for this shit.
Even my robot body won't cooperate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
it's okay, Jean-Luc.
It doesn't work.
I'll just give you an injection.
Yeah,
it'll stimulate your core.
Yeah. Oh my god. Okay.
When that Beverly stuff, when I was thinking about it, I'm like, you know what would be a great way to end the series?
What?
All the action is taking place, and you have this final shot of like the Enterprise or the Stargazer, whatever ship they're going to go on in season 3. Boom, they go off, and then it ends. The very last scene is Beverly and Picard on the patio with the dog, and it's like
great.
Drinking some wine, and we've had a great adventure together, haven't we? And Beverly's like, the adventure is just beginning, and then it's like a shot of two of them from behind holding hands with the dog, in the middle or whatever. Like,
oh, that's great.
And it's like the sunset, and like just cut to black. That's the end of TNG Picard, that whole era.
That would be cool.
If you ended on a loving note of like Picard and Beverly retired again, like that's the end. I never thought that would happen. That was I swear to God, like that was the biggest surprise. Like even more so than Worf. Like I don't know. I just thought like they would never bring Gates McFadden back.
Really? Okay.
Well, because not Narek. I was thinking Narek. Laris in episode 1 of season 2 is all getting lovey-dovey.
Yeah, that's not going to go anywhere.
Picard, and I thought like, okay, when he comes back from the time travel stuff, she's going to be like, say yes or no and marry me, and he's like, I love you. And then I thought they were setting up that as like the Beverly's replacement. Like, oh, he's not going to get with Beverly, so we'll get with her.
Laris, yeah.
But I'm thinking now, like as far into the show as it is now, I'm thinking Laris is not who she appears to be, and she's going to like depart the show. I think season 2 will have a lot of like
departures.
Laris is gone. Getting rid of actors to make room for, because they
For the
gotta
other
pay.
ones.
They need the money to pay the TNG actors, who are actually going to be more expensive than probably the current actors that they have on there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what will happen is you will have the same characters, but to a reduced capacity. Here's what I speculate they'll do. Elnor will come back and Rafi will be happy, and they'll go on the, was it Excelsior? They'll go on their way, because the crew were only united in season 2 because Q forced it.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, like, there's no reason for any of them to be together. Picard could have went back on his own or just with one other person.
Yeah.
But that was Q's thing. Like, I'm gonna give you help. So there's no real reason for them to like stick around for season 3 because they're all doing their own thing anyway. Rios is the captain of the Stargazer. Why is Picard going to be hanging around with him, and why would that be a thing anymore? So that would be a good way to minimize them, or not like to really get rid of the actors. Issa Briones, like, it's like they couldn't do anything with her character in season 2 now, so they recast her as the Soon kid, like to give her like work.
Something to
It
do.
seems like that's the thing with Brent Spiner too. Like, we're just gonna give Brent Spiner work for as long as Star Trek exists. He can always play a Soon, no matter how convoluted it is. So that way, Picard will be, maybe Picard will be completely alone at the beginning of season 3, and he's like, and somebody comes to him. I hope it's a Worf thing. I hope something's going, like Worf comes to him. I'm thinking because they already built the Stargazer set, it's not going to be an Enterprise deal. It's literally just going to be retired old folks, maybe on the Stargazer. I think Agnes, Seven, and Rios will probably have a prominent role, and Raffi and
Seven.
Raffi and Elnor may not be in it
Okay.
as much. Maybe, I don't think. I don't know the schedules and who's filming and who's not. So
No, but you know, talking about season 3, whatever it is, it already happened because they're done. So whatever we're talking about things that they finished already months ago. So whatever they have planned for us, they already shot months ago. So,
one final. What were you gonna say? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say one final thing on the topic, and if you want to say anything to close it off, fun speculation on the premiere date. I extrapolated, maybe I'm off a week or something, but starting with Strange New Worlds, we're presumably gonna get 30 weeks of Star Trek.
Wow.
And that 30 weeks ends the last Thursday of November, leaving December open, starting December 1st, Thursday. I'm like, that would be the perfect time to premiere season 3 of Picard, because it would be very close to the LA premiere and the general premiere of Nemesis 20 years prior.
Oh, wow, look at that.
So, to the date within the month, you know what I mean? You can't. I was hoping that like you could get it, like it would be a Thursday, like the actual date it either premiered in LA or in theaters, but that didn't work out. So I'm like, maybe December 1st. Now people might think that's too soon, but in terms of live action production schedules, Picard is next on the list. After Strange New Worlds, which has filmed and it has its presumably most of its post done, Picard season 2 and 3 were filming, and Picard season 3 continued to film.
Yeah, it's done.
And then it was Strange New Worlds season 2. So I don't think Discovery started filming season 5 yet, right?
No,
I've never heard. I haven't heard anything about that.
No, not yet.
So in terms of the next 2 live action shows on the agenda, it's Picard and Strange New Worlds again. And that's fucking awesome. If they can crank the seasons out faster than the whole having to wait a year or 2, that's smart.
I would,
it has to be good though, obviously.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You know what? I don't want to be the naysayer in this conversation, but I would. Here's where I break your heart. I would be okay with waiting a little bit longer for Picard. I'll be okay with waiting like a year.
Yeah. My estimate is pretty. It's like very soon, and I get that like a year from now would be like reasonable. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because um, the other thing that you have to take into account is we have we have Strange New Worlds on the way, but we also have more goddamn. Oh, I can't believe this. We have more Prodigy to deal with eventually, and we have Lower Decks too,
I can't
which
wait
is
for
not.
Prodigy and Lower Decks. Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
just to be clear, Lower Decks is coming back with its third season this year, and then
Yep.
Prodigy's
Second
second
half is gonna
half,
finish.
which is 10 episodes of a 20-episode season.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like 30 weeks that I think we're pretty much guaranteed, unless
Yeah,
anything changes.
yeah, it's gonna be crazy. I mean, the good people here on YouTube who review Star Trek on a weekly basis are going to lose their minds if they haven't lost their minds already.
They don't need to do any more overlap. I mean, I like having we're gonna have
Spacing.
Picard's season finale plus the premiere of Strange New Worlds at the same time on the same day. I don't think they should make a habit of it. I mean, they should space it out reasonably, like to have
Spacing.
literally every week of the year. And will that lead to franchise fatigue? We'll have to wait and find out. Maybe at some point there will be like a break, and fans like in 2023, it'll be like a 2-month period where there's no Trek, and people are like, I don't understand what's going on.
I don't know what to do.
What do I do with myself?
No, but if people ever say that, I will tell them, listen, guys, I waited 12, 13 years for a new Star Trek show to come on the air. I was like, you guys don't know what it is to wait, so do not give me this bullshit about whining over just 6 months or 7 months of not having Star Trek. I waited 12 years for this, asshole.
Yeah, it's and if you're not liking or you're not digging a certain thing, like
Yeah.
there's something around the corner that's probably going to be worth your while.
More to your liking, yeah.
Yeah, it's some people are just frustrated with it all and just can't deal and watch it.
But,
And be like, it's not the way I want it, and it's like I get frustration like for certain shows that I know it's. I like to feel like I have some kind of control and like I know I can do nothing about when they mess up. Like the feeling I had with Nemesis, I was just like, fuck, they fucked that up. Like, and like I felt helpless. Like there's nothing I can do about that. It's done. It's all over now.
Yeah,
at least I have first contact and whatever. And
but
TNG.
The thing about Nemesis that really pisses me off is that I don't know why in the hell they did not wait for Jonathan Frakes to be. I mean, he wanted to do it, and I'm like, just let him do it, because the guy that they got didn't care one iota about Star Trek. He couldn't even remember the names of the characters, for God's sakes.
Clock stoppers.
Yeah,
when I'm just trying to, I know Jonathan Frakes directed Clock Stoppers in 2002. I just want to see when. March 29th, 2002. Clock Stoppers was released.
Oh my God!
It was directed by Jonathan Frakes.
I've never heard of that.
It had a budget of $26 million and made $38.8 million, which is a loss because marketing costs alone just like tore that up. I think maybe, I don't know if there's any mention of behind the scenes, but maybe Clock Stoppers had something to do with why. And Insurrection too.
Because he did.
It's funny how he didn't recognize that as like a step down. Like you did First Contact. You either go big, you go bigger, or you do something.
Go home, yeah.
As equally compelling on an intellectual level, say. But yeah.
No, but if you wanna know more stuff about Insurrection, I mean the whole process of how that film got sort of Frankenstein together is in a great book by the late great Michael Piller, and anybody who wants to read more about that and how that film came to be and how difficult it was for him to do that. That's a great book. I highly recommend it.
Oh, cool.
I,
I've
yeah,
never known about that.
I actually, I'll send you the PDF of the book if you want to read it.
Yeah.
There's something else I wanted to say. Yes. The other thing that I didn't understand is why the hell didn't they get, like, instead of the guy that they got for it, why didn't they get Brendan Braga and Ronald D. Moore to do Nemesis? But I guess Ronald D. Moore was busy with. It was too early for Battlestar, so I don't know what he was doing.
I don't know what happened. They hired a director who didn't really understand.
No, he didn't care.
There were a few things he brought to the table that I found kind of interesting, like little touches. Like for example, like when he does a shipwide communique, you hear the echo, as if a for real thing, because you always hear them do the shipwide thing, but you don't hear it through the speakers. Echo. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of interesting. I mean, but it's a weird film. I was hoping for the day, and I never, this is stuff I never thought would happen. And ever since they announced Discovery, or the new Trek show that was set before TOS that we didn't know anything about, back in 2016, and we saw the show in 2017. I was like, this is a misstep in many ways, but I appreciate aspects of it, and I ended up kind of digging the show for what it is. But at the same time, I'm like, damn, I want that final bow in the TNG story. Like I just want some kind of closure for Nemesis. And Picard season 1 was kind of doing that with Data and stuff. I'm like, okay, sure, but that's not Worf, it's not Beverly, it's not Geordi, it's not fucking Riker. Come on, give me that, and that's what we're getting. Apparently,
here's what you want. You said you took the words right out of my mouth. What you wanted in season 1 of Picard is now what you're going to get in season 3 of Picard. You want more of a bow, so you're gonna get your bow.
And and it has to be something worthwhile. It can't be some let's go in the Trek sandbox and mishmash a bunch of ideas together, and because you can spot the Trek reference in every frame, it's somehow meaningful storytelling. No, that's not how you do it. You take the actors and you give it an emotional purpose. Like, what's the emotional reason? What's the motive? What's the real motivation behind why these people are together again after for the first time in 20 years on a space adventure again? What? Save the galaxy. Yeah. The galaxy is always in peril.
Of course it is. It always is.
Poor galaxy.
Yeah, poor galaxy. But you know what? Like I said before, I seem to be like I haven't really read the gauges of people online, how they're feeling about this. Like the first person that I've spoken to about this who is actually a proper Star Trek fan like me is you. So I haven't really read the reactions to see how people are reacting to this. But with that being said, I remain very, very optimistic and very, very positive that Akiva Goldsman and Terry Matalas have a good reason for bringing back the TNG crew, and to give them a worthwhile send-off.
And the actors are just like, if the money's right, I'm coming.
Yeah, you're coming for
you. And it's like, I get to reunite with my old family, my old TNG family. It's like, that's sweet. I'm picturing things that. That's the thing. A lot of fans are gonna picture scenes, like I talked about, like the Beverly Picard ending with the dog and the sunset. I'm like, that's very likely not going to be what it is, but
nope.
I just want to be surprised and intrigued, and I don't mind if it gives me all of those images, like some of those images I'm seeing. Like I can see Worf and Seven going down a corridor with rifles drawn,
that's cool.
Keeping each other's backs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be cool.
Because if Raffi's out of the equation, I'm not saying I want Raffi to go, but if say she's not around and Seven is involved with the crew, I can see Worf and Seven nothing romantic, but just like them
respect for each other,
being very good friends.
Mm-hmm, yeah, yeah. I look, and the other thing that everybody is not counting here is that in the quick teaser that we got, Picard opens up he writes that letter, and he opens up a box, and in the box is his old uniform. I was wondering, shit, are they gonna go all the way? Is he gonna wear the old uniform? I'm like, hell yeah, wear that goddamn thing.
Yeah.
I would love that if they actually wear their old or new version of the old uniforms. I would appreciate that.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
I don't know who's. That's the thing. We have no idea where any of these characters are in their careers. It's all just like we assume Geordi's probably doing something important. We assume. I mean, some people thought like, okay, Worf must be the captain of the Enterprise, and other people like, no, he's with the Klingons. He's the ambassador and stuff. I'm like, Worf is all over the place. You never know where Worf's gonna end up. Like he's in the DS9 and he just pops up conveniently in all the TNG movies when needed. Like, you just put Worf where you got to put Worf. Who cares like where he's been in the last 20 years? He's captain of the Enterprise. There you go.
Yeah. I'm so happy that you say Worf kind of pops in and kind of pops out. He's where he needs to be when he needs to be there. But the reason why I chuckled a little bit is because I was watching Nemesis with a family member who is making way through Deep Space Nine. And Worf just showed up. And she was like, excuse me, isn't he supposed to be on Deep Space Nine? Like, why is he here right now?
TNG.
Yeah. And and I was like, well, Worf is on vacation, so on vacation, he like.
He pop up in the movies and shouldn't he be on Disney? Okay.
Yeah. So I said, Worf is on vacation. Cisco gave him the week off, and he decided to come over here.
It's like Worf plans his vacation time around like, is shit going now with my old crew? Oh, some shit's going now with the sonar. Okay, yeah, I'm off to see the Enterprise.
Yeah,
no, that's not. It was always great to have him there, and you just expected him to go. Like in Nemesis, it's like he's just back again with the Enterprise crew. Like after the finale of DS9. It's like people like, well, he wasn't an ambassador in. Okay, in my logic, if he stuck around on the Enterprise, wouldn't he just be the natural one
to take over?
Captain? But then again, I don't know if they're ever gonna mention the Enterprise. Just as a visual concept, I thought like it would be cool for them to be on a journey with the Stargazer and the Enterprise, 2-ship kind of like deal where they're facing a thing, and it's still the Enterprise E. From 20 years ago, and it's it's been refitted a couple of times. It looks basically the same, but at the end of the season, it's fucking destroyed, and it's like it's reminiscent of Star Trek 3, where like
Star Trek 3
they beam away, but they're watching it fucking like fade off. And
what have I done?
What have I done?
Yeah, I personally think that I would love to see them go back on the crew on the bridge of the Enterprise, whatever version they have now. I would personally like to see that, but I do understand that it's probably going to be the Stargazer or another ship.
It's most likely probably. I mean, we could be surprised, and the Enterprise could be there, whatever form. But it's most likely because they've built the Stargazer sets.
Yeah, it's going to be the Stargazer.
And it's only been in one episode so far of the season, 5 episodes in, so it's probably going to be back at the end of the season, and they want to utilize that again. I don't think we're going to... Yeah. Maybe also, 2 ships would be cool. Like Enterprise and Stargazer teaming up on an adventure, you know what I mean? Like
that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of fans liked when Riker got promoted to the Titan and he got command of the Titan. A lot of fans love that. But you know what? I was really pissed off that Riker unfortunately didn't get a shot at the Enterprise captain chair because obviously Picard was still in command when he left and got the promotion. But I was really upset that he never got a chance to command a version of the Enterprise.
Well, I mean,
Oh.
you know what? You know, it's weird with Riker. It's like he almost like he was always. I don't know if he was personally ready. I think he was qualified to be captain, but with him, it was almost like he didn't want to. He didn't want to take.
He didn't want to leave.
He didn't want to leave, and he didn't want to kind of like take over what Picard did. He didn't want to be like the Enterprise captain. He was fine being the first officer there, and like the Titan.
Right.
It's like a separate thing. Like he could call his own and make his own type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Riker being the captain of the Enterprise would seem like the logical thing after Picard. But they did it in a couple of futuristic kind of deals, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
But it.
Yeah, but you know what you just said really makes
Wesley is the captain of the Enterprise.
Oh my God. I mean, would you imagine? I mean, do you imagine the shit that they would get if they did that?
He's like, I'm Captain Wesley. This is so cool. I love everything modern Trek.
Dude,
I don't have any complaints because I get paid to be positive.
Yeah,
but anyway, I'm sorry. That's not a good impression of Will Wheaton.
No, it's fine.
It's a perfect impression of Will Wheaton.
Yeah, it's a perfect.
No, I love Will Wheaton. I love Will Wheaton.
No, but with all due respect, Will Wheaton is a wonderful, wonderful individual, but it's impossible that he loves everything about New Trek. It's impossible.
Wonderful person, you say. I saw him in person. He's like, get away from me, you freak.
Yeah, get away from me.
I was naked, but that's not the point. No, I've never met Will Wheaton.
Yeah. But you know what? But Will Wheaton has this great energy about him where he's always like at like 100. I don't know what he does to himself to get that excited about his job. But hey,
probably pills and coffee.
Yeah, pills and coffee. Yeah, but hey, if we got paid to talk about Star Trek for a living,
he has. You know what he has? He has a permanent child on Christmas Day look.
Yeah, that's it.
Wow! I can't believe it.
Yeah, that's it.
My own BB gun. You'll shoot your eye out with that thing. Anyway.
Yeah.
But Beverly being there, it's safe to assume that Will Wheaton, like, it's such a missed opportunity that Will Wheaton, who hosts the fucking Ready Room, is like, put me in the show. No, Beverly's coming back? I would be pissed if I was Will Wheaton. Like, you don't even ask me. I don't even care if, like, it was the deleted scene, like in Nemesis. He was in Nemesis, by the way, and it was cut out.
Yeah, he was. Wait a minute, was he?
Yeah, he's in the deleted scene.
Oh, but he was there. Okay.
He was there with like Guinan and the rest.
But he was cut
out. You can see you can probably watch it on YouTube, but it was in the like DVD when that first came out. There's a lot of deleted scenes. Like if the assembly cut of Nemesis must have been like 3 or 4 hours at least.
Wow, crazy. No, I have it on digital, so I'll just scroll through the deleted scenes, and it's probably in there somewhere.
Yeah, it's the one time you see Wesley in movie form.
Oh, cool. No, because didn't he? Wasn't he at the Riker's wedding? Wasn't he at the reception?
That's Nemesis. That's where he was in Nemesis.
Yeah.
Did I say another movie?
Yeah, you did.
What did I say?
I thought you said. No, I thought you said No, I thought you said Insurrection, but you said Nemesis. You were right. I was thinking about another movie.
Yeah, one of the funny things about the wedding scene is when Worf is drunk, and he plunks his head down. You see the foam rubber kind of like mush.
Oh my God!
Like just for a second, and it's like that's not a solid headpiece. I mean, it's obvious. We know it's not, but it just breaks the illusion.
Yeah, but
All right, well,
Ro-
I, oh,
Romulan ale should be illegal. I'm sorry.
it is illegal.
Yeah, but it should.
The Romulan ale joke was milked to death. Like,
But
now
still,
they call it Romulan whiskey all the time.
yeah, but still, I love it. Um,
Let's talk about. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Why is it coming up?
oh my god,
It's coming up as a ticker.
ticker. Okay, so
Let's talk about this thing. Another part of First Contact Day, which is the first time okay. For one thing, on Paramount Plus in Canada, it's first page. It's not in the United States. It's different for some reason because they have original Trek show, modern Trek shows on there, and we don't have that in Canada. We only have the old Trek, plus whatever original content they put out that's separate from modern Trek, like a remaster, say, of an old movie like TMP. I bought the DVD back in the day, like 20 years ago. It was the second time I'd ever seen the movie, and it was the first time I ever saw it in like widescreen, the way it was meant to be seen. And every other version of it after that, it was like the theatrical version. I've never liked this movie all that much. I gotta be honest.
okay,
Boring.
mm-hmm.
Slow.
Okay,
The director's cut is longer, but it cuts it cuts some things in a way that was like better pacing in some scenes,
mm-hmm.
and the restoration is like really really amazing. A couple of things stand out. The font
Yep. Oh, huh.
looks very like desktop computer
E.
screensavery.
Yeah, screensaver.
I don't know. It looks weird.
No, but
Excuse me.
I can.
It looks like
yeah,
like a computer, like a video game graphic. But anyway, yeah, go ahead.
Can you tell me something when they cut from Vulcan to San Francisco in the original director's cut? Did they have this star date
No.
on the bottom? No. Okay.
In
Good.
the theatrical cut, they did no,
They didn't.
and there were less. There was like 2 less shots. That's a little bit longer of that intro in from Spock on Vulcan to. By the way, the improvements of Vulcan are fantastic, much needed because the original, where it's like a bunch of moons and it's weird, it looks very artificial. It looks very bad, but at least they make it look more.
Yeah,
like it's like a real daytime scene. Everything's blended more.
Statues.
Yeah, like there's a giant head right next to Spock. Like that wasn't. It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
They do some VFX with V'ger. You see V'ger from the exterior view.
Oh wow.
Which lets you understand something about the movie that I didn't quite get the first few times I saw it. You know when they go into the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's a cloud. So V'ger's a cloud. So I thought, and then they start seeing like all the mechanics of it. So I'm like, this is inside the cloud. So the inside, I didn't know if it was inside V'ger or not. But watching it, watching the director's cut again and getting a sense of the exterior versus the interior of V'ger, which is made totally clear in the director's cut as opposed to the motion picture. Not that you can't know, but when they first go into the cloud, they're actually going over V'ger.
Mm-hmm.
They're not inside it at all. They're just looking at like the top of it basically, and it seems long and endless. And then they come out the other side of the cloud, turn around, and then the sphincter opens, and they get tracked into it, and then they're inside. You can glean that if you pay attention to the theatrical cut, sure, but it's so well illustrated in the director's cut. It's only a few shots of difference. There's one cool addition where, in the theatrical cut, Spock is trying to transmit friendship messages, and V'ger's sending the thing to absorb them, and Kirk's like, send the message, come on, Spock, like, do it.
Yep. We're gonna
and
die.
then you see the shot is from the view screen's point of view, and you see the thing just not hit it or like dissipate, and there's like it's a silent thing.
Oh, cool.
But in the theatrical version, you see the exterior view. You actually see the thing come toward the Enterprise. It's like a CG, newly created visual effect, and you see it disappear. And it's like little touches like that add to the experience of the motion picture.
Mm-hmm.
You're only halfway through, by the way. I just want to be clear, like to the audience. I don't want to.
Yeah,
I know you know what happens in the movie.
Yeah,
but,
I know what happens. Don't worry about it. I was really impressed with the. I don't know what you call it, but the coloring, like the layering of actually the job that they did on the Enterprise, because everything looks so much nicer, except for the mistakes, which we'll talk about in a second. But everything looks so much crisper and clearer, and I was like, this is amazing. I really, really thought that they did a great job cleaning up the original director's cut. What did you think about that for the most part?
Well, for people who don't know, they've gone back. Now, there's a process of scanning a thing in 4K where you can scan the original print, like the big print of the actual movie that's assembled already, and you don't have to re-edit it, right? You're just doing a higher resolution scan of a print of the good print of the film, like not some copy of a copy or some shit like that. Something usually it's clean. It's cleaned up. It's put through like dirt and stuff is cleaned off it and whatever. That's not the case with TMP, the director's edition. They went back to the original negatives, and they reassembled and recomposited the film.
Wow.
So actually, I did a comparison just for fun, and it would go out of sync, but I didn't do it the whole time. But just to see the difference, I played on my phone, synced it up exactly with the picture of the director's edition, and I had the theatrical cut on my phone just to kind of like see the difference. When you kind of hold it side by side, you can see things in corners and stuff that aren't even visible.
Yeah.
Because basically what they've done is they've scanning the negative and reassembling it in that way. You're getting like a truer
image.
A truer image. So therefore, like the presentation of it with modern technology is just, it's brighter, it's clearer. The color, I guess the colors pop. I'm not too perceptive in the color department.
Yeah.
But I do notice when things are more vibrant. It's like, oh, I can see more here, like than I did before. And usually that comes across with like higher resolution remasters of things. I tend to see like things like I just never even noticed.
Right.
And it is brighter. It doesn't have that like heavy 70s contrast. Where you have some of these scenes where like there's heavy shadows at play. When you see the remastered version, it's like the shadows are still there, but they're not like...
They're not in your face.
Yeah. So we have some issues with the film.
Oh, yeah. You want to cover those?
There are some obvious compositing issues now, like when Kirk is seeing the Enterprise for the first time, that big long scene. The score is different. Did you notice?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
It's an alternate version of that theatrical, and it works. It fucking works, because I'm so used to hearing the other thing. Like, it's good to hear, like, a little a variant of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I noticed, like, some of the dirt is not present. Is not present.
Present.
You see some shots of Earth that weren't there before. Like, kind of like below space dock. Yeah, like it's cleaner. Yeah. Some of the compositing really works when it doesn't, because you're rescanning the old matte kind of like elements and reconstituting them in high definition. Sometimes like the edges are clearer or the matte lines are clearer. Right. And there's a little bit of like weird juddering from little things here and there, but overall it's like much better. You got to forgive it. It's 70s tech, right?
You do.
recomposited for the modern age.
Yeah.
There is a
I
scene,
did.
53 minutes and 25 seconds in, I just gotta say.
Okay, go ahead.
53 minutes and 25 seconds in, where Spock, Kirk, and Bones are in the room alone together for the first time having a discussion.
The lounge, yeah.
The lounge or the office or whatever it is.
It's the lounge.
And they changed it so in the original DVD version it didn't look too bad because it's standard def, like, you know, it's DVD resolution or whatever. It's just changed where the background is like they literally have to crop out the existing background that they filmed in to create this fake backdrop in the room where you see the nacelle and are like, there's more depth and there's bigger windows and stuff. They choose to do that again in this version, and the compositing and the rotoscope, like the literal cutting out of the characters to stick on this fake background is so poorly done. Where when Kirk and Bones are in profile and stuff in the image, like a frame, like their nose is cut off or like part of their face is like wobbly. It's like, but you see the theatrical version and it's like you could have just left that alone. It would have been perfect. And that's a great scene that's completely fucking ruined because you have this really jarring fake background and cut out 70s kind of it looks like a bad like you cut out a magazine and like it's you gotta see it.
Do you think that they're gonna they spent a fortune on this thing already, but do you think that they're gonna go back in eventually and fix these little things that they fucked up?
They only need to really fix that one scene.
Okay.
There is some issues with at the end when V'ger extends the virtual kind of like ramp to the ship that they can walk on.
Sure. Yeah.
It's done with like they're trying to make it like 70s effects, but it's like it looks the effects look jarring at the end with the sparkles and this thing that forms. And it looked good in the standard def because you couldn't really see the detail, but now you see the detail. It's like I actually prefer the original way they did it, but I guess you're trying to illustrate that V'ger is creating this road that you didn't see it create in the theatrical version. And there's wide shots of plates of the characters walking that are in the theatrical cut, but they're cut out and did the same way where it's like it literally looks like it's frame by frame somebody traced along and did the cutout thing. Like and it's not consistent, so it's like weird wobbly, like really bad. But those are really just two things in the whole movie that stand out. Otherwise, it's fucking spectacular.
Yeah, I really like the scene when Kirk they're all on the bridge and they're about to go off, and as they go off, as the Enterprise pulls out of space dock, I thought there was a new shot inserted there because you see more of the space dock when the Enterprise goes by it. Like I don't.
You're talking about when they do the close-ups of the mirror, the lights fading and the mirrors folding and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think some of that is new. I have to look back and see, but yeah.
No, but once the Enterprise pulls out of the space dock, and the Enterprise is going past the camera, you see more of the physical thing of the space dock before they cut to just the Enterprise going through space.
Oh yeah. You also see Earth too that wasn't there in the shot before.
Yeah.
So they added some of that. And also with V'ger, when it explodes at the end, you see like the shape of V'ger in the middle, which you didn't see in the.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. That's very awesome. But I do think that eventually, these problems that we're bringing up, I think if enough people complain, I think Paramount is going to go, or CBS is going to go back in there and say, hey, why don't we just try and fix this? Why don't we just go back in there and just fix these little things that people keep bringing up?
In the simpler solution, and I don't know if they'll ever do it, they'll probably leave it alone. I don't see anybody complaining about it, even though it's like it actually ruins a scene in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really the only big issue.
Yeah.
It'd be easier to just unfix it. Like, literally just go and don't try to do the fake background thing. Just
go
do
back
what
to the original background. Yeah.
the original background, problem solved. They felt the need to copy everything that they did in the director's edition when Robert Wise was alive and part of it, so they wanted to honor it in that way. But that's one of the things that would have been left alone.
Is it just me, or did they put the lights on the inside of the nacelles in that scene that we're talking about? Because I'm like, have those lights always been there? The warp light bubbles on the inside of the nacelle.
I think they show something to differentiate between impulse and warp that wasn't illustrated maybe in the original movie. I'm not sure. I have to go back and look. But yeah.
Okay. Because those warp nacelles, they look like modern Star Trek warp nacelles. Because this new Enterprise that we're going to get in Strange New Worlds has the warp colors on the
Maybe I'm thinking Strange New Worlds then, yeah, not TMP.
No, but if you look at that scene that we've talked about when Spock, Bones, and McCoy are talking in the lounge, and you see the nacelles outside of the window, you see the warp thing, the warp field on the inside of the nacelle. And I was like, did we see that before?
Maybe that seems likely that's another change.
Yeah, maybe.
But that scene I was talking about that pissed me off, that it was ruined. It's just because Spock's is my favorite line in it.
What did he say?
Where he says, something like, "As do you, Doctor, as your constant need for what shit
predilection."
As your predilection for irrelevancy demonstrates.
Yeah,
I fucked it up, but yeah. It's a comeback that's delivered just quickly and so efficiently without any effort from Spock whatsoever.
Yeah,
and Bones is like, irritation with him is just fascinating to me. It's like, well, Spock, however it's pronounced.
When I saw that scene today, I kept thinking that Bones was going to call him, "You green-blooded inhuman." But that doesn't come until later, like in the other movies. So,
are you out of your Vulcan mind?
Yeah. But Spock, Bones, and Kirk, I think, are really the heart of original Star Trek.
The first time I ever saw TMP, which I'd never seen commercials, I've seen glimpses of it here and there. Never seen commercials for, never seen it on TV. It was like a movie that was literally buried. Like, nobody wanted to put it on.
Really?
I found it in a video store in 1999. First time I'd ever seen. Here's the thing. I knew there was a first one.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know what it was called. I didn't know it was called the Motion Picture. I didn't know. I just knew there was like a Star Trek 1 out there somewhere.
Okay.
And I assumed it probably, from what I'd seen clips of, that it didn't look as good as,
2?
The later ones, yeah. It looked kind of like bland and beige and very 70s. And I got it on a VHS, a very shitty VHS. Didn't really like the movie. Appreciate it when I got it on DVD with the director's edition. But one of the things that always stood out to me is Bones. he beams in and he looks like straight out of Woodstock. like he was just with a band of hippies smoking reefer. Even just such a 70s look to that film. It's kind of charming now, but in the 90s it was like, oh, this just looks like the fucking 70s.
Yeah, when Bones beams in, he's also really pissed at Kirk because of Kirk, they forcibly recalled him. So
reverse activation clause, yeah.
Yeah.
In other words, they drafted me.
It's great. It's great.
He's like, I need your Bones. badly. I'm like, what is
Badly.
this? What does he need? The doctor? Like,
Yeah.
oh, it's just his friend. He needs support. Okay,
Yeah,
because Bones really all he does is just kind of stand around and observe and make comments. Like he's not exactly
Also,
essential to the story. Nurse Chapel is the MD, so I mean, okay, it's just fun to have him there.
No, but the other thing is that I think that Bones is one of those people that Kirk relies on for support in in situations of peril. So of course he's
Yeah.
gonna want Bones there for whatever. And to be honest, it wouldn't be right if he wasn't there.
One of my favorite shots in the movie is when Bones and Kirk have that argument about obsession and like
Yeah.
basically
Practicality.
Bones confronts him and then he leaves the room and it's
Uh-huh.
a shot where the glass doors close in front of him and he's just
In there, yeah.
like Kirk is just like lost. There's a lot to the film you can really appreciate and like get into, like the whole concept about like Spock feeling the connection to V'ger and like his understanding of it. In the director's edition too, they have this thing where like they show him crying that they don't show in the theatrical version.
Right.
He's like, I cry for V'ger. It's like,
Right.
and then the whole thing about like V'ger's a child. It's like this 2 hours to get to how do we talk to this thing and what is it?
Yeah.
And that's so Star Trek and
Yeah,
so
it
good
is.
in a way.
But it's so bad.
It all depends. Like, there's been times where I've tried to watch it. I'm like, fuck this. I don't like Decker. I don't think Ilea, even as the robot, is a particularly interesting character. She's kind of like,
Nah,
I'm a robot, but I'm horny for Decker. And at the end, she's like, basically, join with me, and that's how you all get out of this situation. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Come on.
Makes sense, I guess. Like they want to transmit the code. At the end, it's like the whole thing is transmit the code to V'ger, so
Yeah.
or whatever. And then it's like Spock's like the wires are severed. And he's like V'ger did that on purpose, so because now Ilea the robot is in love with Decker, and it's symbolic too because it's like he wants to join with the creator, and it's like
Right.
it's
I mean,
there's a fantasy element there mixed with the sci-fi that's cool, but I mean it is what it is. It's not exactly
Trek.
action adventure fun. It's more cerebral. But
I think
it is what it is.
I mean, look, I just said that it's boring and I said that it's lame, but my favorite version of the motion picture is the director's cut. And every time I watch it, I just think that this film has problems. I have problems with it, but there's something about it that when I watch it, I just get happy. And I think to myself, this is Star Trek in its purest form. And then Star Trek 2 is just amazing. Star Trek 3 is great. Star Trek 4 is get out of here. Star Trek 5 is Star Trek 6 is the best because my favorite Star Trek film is Star Trek 6. So, but I love the motion picture, so that's why I was so excited when I found out that they were going to do this remaster of the director's cut, my favorite version of the motion picture ever. So, I'm really excited to finish it.
I gotta say, V'ger in that high detail, and it's much brighter and more detailed than the older version. It was a little jarring at first.
Okay.
I'm like, this looks like it. They did a good job at making it look not so photorealistic that it looks like an effect that could have been in the 70s maybe. But it's very bright, and the electricity and like all the detail on it, I was like, this makes it the few changes that they make in the director's edition, I think that make the difference that you're talking about, is that you get a sense of V'ger as an entity or as a thing, because a lot of the theatrical cut is not only you're looking at the point of view of the view screen, you're literally first person, and it's the only movie where the Enterprise has a first person view for like a lot of time.
Yeah.
Like you're literally seeing a full screen image from like the nose of the ship.
Yeah.
Because it's not inside, it's not like a shot of the Enterprise. They do have those beautiful wide shots where you see how small the Enterprise is going over it and like going through it and whatnot. Those are nice touches, but the director's cut adds like more exterior shots, not only of the Enterprise, but of V'ger itself.
Awesome.
Which technically you do see in the theatrical cut. You do see like the length of it, but you don't see it like from like a very wide angle. But yeah, like you do here.
Do you think if this is successful, do you think they're going to maybe remaster the director's cut of Wrath of Khan? Maybe.
Maybe. I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I think the next thing on the agenda should be DS9 and Voyager.
Yeah, you're like, give it to us. Give it to us now.
But I don't know the glaring kind of issues, and there are only one or two, but one in particular that's seen with Spock, Kirk, and McCoy.
Mm-hmm.
That shows a lack of time or money or technique or something. There's something very jarring about that, where it's like, oh, a lot of this stuff is cool. Like the Starfield at the beginning.
Great.
It's like, okay, instead of a black screen, you have a Starfield and it looks like a little screensaver you're watching for some time. That's cool. But then when the font comes up, you're like, this looks very not like a film now for some reason.
Nope.
But that's just, it just goes with 4K remastering old films. Like the digital font, unless you blend it in with the film grain somehow, is going to look like it's pasted on top of the movie itself. It doesn't look naturally incorporated.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
No, but I think, I think they did the best job they could. And now I don't know why they did what they did with that scene with Spock, Bones, and McCoy in the lounge, but you got me. You got me there.
He's like, Spock, will you please sit down? And then it goes from the wide shot of that horrible fucking composite wide shot, and then Spock sits down. He's like all wiggly and jibbly, and every time somebody moves within that wide shot, like,
you know what?
Go back and look at that because it's like fucking jarring as hell, man. I'm like, it took me out of the movie. I'm like, oh no, I hope there's not more of this kind of thing. Where they're like changing the background and having to manually like rotoscope every frame to where it looks like it does not look right.
Yeah, no, but actually, when I actually get off the stream with you, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna rewind because I'm a little bit beyond that scene now. But I'm gonna rewind. I'm gonna rewatch that scene just for you now, and I'm probably gonna notice all the wiggles.
Look at Kirk's face when he's in profile, standing up in the wide shot, or even when Bones is on the chair.
Right.
They literally crop out physical walls and stuff that were in the original scene that weren't green screen or anything. Like the only green screen element was the Starfield in the window, but everything else is like a natural set. And they take away that natural set, put in an artificial one, and it looks like the characters are just stuck
somewhere.
Stuck on this. Oh, I can't even. I don't. I'm harping on it. I'm sorry. I'm like.
That's fine. No, that's no problem.
But I think an hour and a half is good.
Yeah, that's good. We haven't been here for an hour and a half.
Well, we discussed Picard for an hour, and we discussed TMP for a half an hour. So I think that's a good. It's good balance.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Anyway, Marcelo, I want to thank you for having me. I want to thank everybody here for joining in the chat and whatnot. And if you want to plug your podcast, I normally don't plug people's stuff because not enough people watch. More people watch the other people's stuff than they do mine. So it's like, just if you just shits and giggles.
Yeah, I have a personal podcast called the Red Wall Podcast, and a brand new season of my show, the fourth season, as a matter of fact, is going to air on your streaming services of choice starting tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I would love it if y'all go down there and give my brand new season I'll listen. I would appreciate that very, very much. And also, if you want to see my lovely, charming face, I also have a YouTube channel. I'm at youtube.com/balloonheadproductions. So if you go over there, you can see all my reviews on all the geeky stuff that I talk about as well.
All right, check that out and like and subscribe to this video and channel, and also Marcelo's. And until next time, folks, live long and prosper.